All right, so just got changed. We're ready to go. I just drove 3.5 hours from like the Clearwater area, like where the airport's at, up to Jacksonville. So we were picking up a customer turbo. Unfortunately, I get to be the one to pull that turbo. So I'm gonna pull everything off as one assembly because I feel like it'll be a lot easier. We're not gonna undo the drain, anything like that. We're literally just gonna pick the whole thing up out, pull the drain out of the block. Undo the downpipe. There's a couple coolant hoses and whatnot. I'll get into what we're getting, but we're basically pulling a turbo, and it's going on the white truck that we have in the shop. So instead of having the HE300 VG that the 2013 came with, it's going to be getting an HE351 VE swap, which is basically a 2007 and a half to a 2012 turbocharger. It's a little bit bigger, so you lose a little bit of the exhaust brake. You don't lose the exhaust brake, but it's not as strong as the smaller turbo. But I mean, it's just one of those, like, this is the turbo that we're going to use. It's personally my favorite turbo that's on the third gens, but he just had an 09 sitting around with a hole in a piston. So let's go see how that turbo looks. All right, so here's what we got. Like I said, this truck has a hole in the piston. So what we're gonna do is pretty much pull everything off of the other side. I'm gonna get everything unplugged, unclipped. I'm working around a trailer. But yeah, just basically get this entire intake system off. The EGR is already gone. So pretty much, I'm gonna pull everything that I can and just take the entire manifold. And as opposed to dropping, like, we're gonna keep the oil drain on and all that stuff. So we'll see how this goes, but yeah, I got planes and shit around here, so let's hurry quick, try to get this thing off as quick as possible, and we'll go from there. All right, these are going to be the tools of choice: an 11, a 10, and a 13. Yes, I know they're half an inch up here, doesn't matter. We're going to use 13, this guy here, and a flathead screwdriver. So let's see how far we can get with just all of that, and then getting all of this stuff unplugged. Alright, so working on getting that clamp off. The thing's been tight. That one has a hose clamp on it. Probably gonna pull this whole boot out if I can get to it, which I'll just have to pull. Actually, you know what? There you go. I can get to it. So gotta get that off. We're not taking any of the old boots. Looks like this turbo is leaking anyway. You can see the oil lines around the thing. These I believe were a 22 or a 24. I'm just going to take them off of the top and try to bring as much with me as I possibly can out of this setup. And we're getting there. So got to get this coolant line out of the way and get the dipstick out of the way. You can see there's a 10 mil right there, and then unscrew it from here. Allen heads do not belong in a diesel truck engine bay. Just going to put that out there. I know these kits are coming with them, and I absolutely hate it. It's like, save the Allens for the bikes and use actual bolts for these delete kits on these big diesel trucks, because they strip so easily. Alright, intercooler pipe was fun. This was holding one side on. This was getting... So, what we're doing now, I gotta get this line off. You can see right here. Get both of those, pull that off, get that 10 out of there to get the transmission mount out. Slow and steady, probably gonna leave the oil drain, everything complete, so I'll probably just take it out from right here and try to snake as much of that out as possible. so we're fighting this nut here. The whole thing wants to twist. And then I gotta get the bottom one, so we gotta pull this bad Larry off here. So I don't know if this thing has coolant in it, but for the sake of the video, probably not gonna tell you guys. All right, so got this out of the way. Should be able to pull this off now. I've gotten all 6 of the nuts off, but this thing has just been fight after fight after fight. But once that's off, all we got to do is a couple coolant lines. Probably just gonna hit the one right there. That way I don't got to get underneath the truck or under the turbo or anything like that. And then we just got to get the downpipe. This has been a fun endeavor, probably about an hour and a half. And that's where we're at. All right, so we got this one off. Still got to do the downpipe yet, and then that last one down there. Probably just gonna go grab my 22 mil socket. We're pretty much done at this point. I'd say another 20 minutes, and then we're gonna snake this thing out. I still got to get the 15 off of the back. I forgot about this coolant line here. Those are a bitch, but it'll be fine. Nothing we can't handle. You're gonna want to take the bolt out of this guy here, so you can move that, so you can get this one. And yeah, this thing was filled with like muddy water and shit. Like, look at that, just muddy. And then half water was coming out, and it's like, all right, cool. But yeah, let's get that, and then get that downpipe off, and we're gonna start pulling. All right, we have everything off except that nut back there decided to unspin the entire thing. So this is staying put, and then all we got to do yet is pull. We got all the connections off. Ignore that sound, you don't hear any of that. We're gonna get doing this one-handed. We just have 10 more of those to go. Now keep in mind, this manifold is junk. We're not reusing this manifold. We have a brand new one on the other truck. So you're supposed to take out from the outside in, and then when you tighten them, you're supposed to take them out from the inside out. Keep that in mind. Here, I'm just doing 2-2, and then I'm gonna leave the top 2 center bolts in, and we're just gonna pull and get this whole thing out, and then probably put everything else back in place so it won't get ruined. And yeah, so, but yeah, like I said, this manifold's junk, so don't disregard this part. All right, so take that back about 2 hours. I can finally pull this thing out. I had to get this to the weird angle so that I could get the bottom 2 bolts. That thing is so seized in the block, it doesn't matter. And it was so rusty crusty. So yeah, we'll put you guys up on the camera and see if we can get this bastard out. It's actually a lot cleaner on the bottom than it was down there, but we got it. And we're in Jacksonville, so we're super far from home. Looks like someone's getting ready to pull the transmission. You can see they got the bottom piece off as well. I think he said we're using this transmission for something down the road, but he asked about hauling it up there. But for me to do it, I mean, you're probably talking about $3,000 to get this thing back to the shop if I do it. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, you can see that back bolt back there too. So this whole piece can come out right there. and then that'll have to happen to get that off. So now that this is done, I just gotta grab the turbo and my vice grip. But show you guys how easy it is to put everything back. Usually what I do is I come over here and I grab everything and I just stick it in the corner, and then I slowly work its way in, and then anything that's gonna go in the box I put over on the other side, and it makes it so much easier. Alright, so we got a turbo, got all cleaned up. We're gonna go try to find, I'm glad that I didn't wash Bertha yet, because now that we got oil all over everything, let's go get Bertha cleaned up. Alright, so we are picking up now. Apparently this whole place got flooded. You can see that car is a flood car. I guess the water got up to the grass here, so that's been flooded. This lady's car didn't start, and she's like, hey, can you start it? And I jumped her. Did not charge. She offered me money. I did not take it. I'm not interested in the money. Just here to help out. So, oh man, let's get over there. I'm gonna back up to it, show you guys this unit. Got to get some pictures of it. I need to, this is a nursing home. You can see the whole thing got flooded. So what we're gonna do is, gotta figure out how to get this axle down. There's a button here. So yeah, I gotta figure out how all this stuff folds up. You can see how low to the ground it is. That's gonna be interesting. 2 5/16 ball. Drop the axle down. Disconnect all of this. All that's gonna get disconnected, and then the hose. All right, so check this cool shit out, right? So I come in here. Look at that. Drops. So we're gonna go back up. There we go. Magnet to that. Close that up. Just trying to figure out how all that shit goes. That's how it's supposed to go, but there's supposed to be things that like clip to it, and it's all fucked up, so I don't know. And then on this side, there's a remote here. Meanwhile, I manhandled it. Look at that. We're gonna make sure this is closed. All right, so we finally got her all figured out. I'm actually gonna turn my back lights back on. And yeah, so they don't have anything to hold these in place. So, and I didn't bring ratchet straps. So we got the cord coming through, zip tied here, brought it as tight as fucking possible around these damn propane tanks, back to itself, zip tied in. This is the most diabolical shit. It's not going far. So this is fine, but it's some diabolical shit. I could not get it. So zip tied it here, zip tied here, zip tied here. Should I put some around here? Maybe. But even if I tried to, like, yeah, it'll be all right. We're not going far. Also, unfortunately, the lady's car let it run for a half an hour, and she went to put it in reverse from there to there, and it died. So I'm gonna do what I can for her before I leave, but yeah, her shit that's fucked. Alright, so this will be the last you see of this one. It's coming back to home base to get staged, cleaned up and everything. It smells like shit in there, but yeah, we're at the gate, so I gotta figure this out. No trespassing, there's cameras and shit. So I hear music. I was gonna try to stop in there. I don't know if they're the same. I don't know what the deal is. Not really sure. But this is the address. It's the correct place. There's all the units. So All right, so in my opinion, side note, this held just fine. I knew it would. We didn't go on the highway. There was no highway to get here. I think I'm just gonna put it like right here because I might just dump it in the grass right here, to be honest, because they've already technically paid on it. And yeah, I gotta be at the next one at 9 in the morning. I think it's like an hour and a half from here. So I don't want to dick with it too much. I'm just gonna bust a U-turn, back it right here next to the gate. Nobody's gonna fuck with it back here. All right, she dropped. Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here, I guess. All right, next day, gotta get this one unhooked, dropped, check for damages, going up to Georgia, and then we are done for the week. And then once this one's dropped, we are gonna find something headed home, go finish up 2 trucks in the shop, and then we'll go from there. All right, we got everything packed up. These go down. I got the rails on the inside, and then little pins on both sides. And then this stays getting caught up with that piece of rubber there on one side. So now we just back up to it. We're good to go. All right, we are all hooked up. This trailer's light. We're gonna fill up. Hitch is a little low, but I moved it down for that last trailer. We're gonna go fill up at the 1.9 on the way up. We're not low on fuel, but just doesn't hurt. Should be able to get me back up. I'm gonna actually top off right here. This entire trip, I have been doing so well on fuel. I still have a full tank, and we have way more to go. Let's get up there. All right, so number 6, this one's coming back to get cleaned up, staged, all that shit. But we're done with that one. So hopefully find us one more going up. Had to be here at a specific time. Otherwise it was a wait till tomorrow type deal, but we got it. These things never seem to last down here, but I don't know. There you go. Got a 5th gen next to me with the same bumper that I have. That's funny. Yeah. All right, boys, so we made it back to the shop. I had to come to the shop to get the keys, otherwise I was gonna, I can't get in my house, and I didn't tell my wife I was coming home. So 2 things, don't worry, the brakes are here, but I heard a ticking noise. You guys see that? That fucking thing's gone. Holy shit. I mean, I don't know. I didn't tell my wife I was coming home. I'm gonna run it to get home, but I have to be super careful. Also, if you can tell by that, I knew I needed brakes. I ordered them. Don't worry, they'll be here today. But yeah, that rotor's about gone. So yeah, we're gonna be taking care of some maintenance today, but it's gonna have brand new brakes. And I guess I need that thing. So hopefully it makes it home. I mean, it should make it. It made it this whole trip. Yeah, fuck it. We're gonna send it. I gotta be super careful with hitting the back brake. I'm not working tomorrow. Or today, technically. It's like 3 in the morning. It is my 2-year wedding anniversary. So we're gonna celebrate that. We're gonna go to Texas Roadhouse, do a couple little odds and ends. And then probably once it warms up in the middle of the day, probably like 60 degrees, I think, maybe today. Hopefully we see 60. Yeah, sometime maybe around like 3 o'clock, start tackling the brakes. But Bertha is out of commission. I don't have towing on the insurance, so if Bertha needs towed, it is what it is. But we will get that taken care of today. Not a problem. Don't worry about it.